Welcome to Discover Virginia, the podcast that takes you behind the scenes of the incredible people, businesses, and stories that shape the Hampton Roads and Virginia community. Each episode, we sit down with local entrepreneurs, creatives, and change makers who are redefining what it means to live, work, and also play in this region. Now, let's explore, connect, and discover Virginia.
I'm Colin Chapman. I am the most hilarious, irreverent, and canceled comedy hypnotist ever. Yes, I'm a comedian and hypnotist. I do a comedy show that uses stand-up comedy, crowd work, and hypnosis to deliver the laughs. It's a show that is built to be extremely memorable, bring people together, and my mission in life, help people laugh. Because these days, laughter is something all of us need a lot more of. Gee, have I done this before?
Colin, thank you for being on the show
Hey,
today.
I'm glad to be
appreciate it.
here. Glad to be here.
Yeah, so I figured we kick off a little bit impromptu and do some lightning rapid fire questions first to kick off the conversation. Sound good? All right. So, what's your favorite food to eat before a show right now?
So, I never eat anything more than 2 hours before a show.
Interesting. Why is that?
Because I'm old. I don't never know what's going to happen with the food, and I would much rather make the volunteers think that one of them is farting because I played a sound effect in the show rather than something I actually did. That's a big reason why. No. So I've actually been on a journey. There's about 55 pounds less of me. And
wow, good for you. You look great.
Well, thanks. And Matt Rife is getting jealous of me now.
Yeah, I mean, you and Matt Rife are definitely in the top 10 category here.
Absolutely. And even my wife is trying to fatten me up now. But I eat. I'm just very, very mindful of what I'm eating.
Sure.
And I've cut out all the sugars. I cut out all the carbs, and I'm just being smart about it.
Love it. It. So I understand you've been a lifelong hypnotist as well as a parent. And so I'm curious, what's easier, hypnotizing a skeptic or getting your kids to clean the room?
Hypnosis is 1,000,000 times easier than being a parent. And because you guys are out of Virginia Beach, this will hit a little bit. Back in the late 70s, early 80s, the U.S. Navy had this recruiting campaign called The Toughest Job You'll Ever Love.
Okay.
That recruiting campaign convinced me to join the United States Army. Because I don't want a tough job.
Sure.
Okay?
Sure.
And then I found out later I had signed up for the toughest job you'll ever love, which is being a parent. Mm. And I will tell you today that even if I get booked as a result of this podcast for my Netflix special tomorrow and I cure cancer tomorrow, still the most important thing I'll accomplish in my life is being Alex and CJ's dad.
Mm. I love that. I love that sentiment. Yeah. As a dad myself, I can resonate with that. Yeah. So next up, I'm curious, what's the best joke you've ever told that actually bombed when you performed it?
Bombed. So I do this joke about how that my wife and I have now been married for 24 years, and people who don't know me, oh, that's so good. But people who do know me are like, you've been married for 24 years?
Yeah.
Really? You of all people? Don't you realize half of all marriages end in divorce? How did you manage to stay married for this? Oh, it's very simple. Because when I was single, something I knew about me, a complete and total train wreck. Hmm. There's no way any woman in her right mind would ever date me, let alone end up in a long-term relationship with me. So I had this awesome dating strategy. I only went out with women who had serious mental health challenges. What's the secret to us being married for so long? She's absolutely nuts. That's what it is.
Yeah.
In the room, the first time I did that joke, a lot of laughs. However, 2 days later, I get a email from the alleged comedy venue saying, our board has met and we've reviewed and you'll see attached our mission statement, which, by the way, a comedy venue having a mission statement, which was 2 pages written, front and back, single spaced.
There's some meta humor in there as well.
Oh,
Right?
oh God, yes.
Yes.
And it's like, and we have decided that we are canceling your other 2 shows, and you will not ever be coming back here again.
Wow.
And it turned out was this joke. And they said, would you like to make a public apology for that joke? Yeah, I laughed. I said, so you're asking me. And they told me, well, we feel that this was not only misogynistic, you were mocking your wife's mental health issues. I go, so you're asking me to apologize for the joke that is my wife's favorite joke that I've ever written? Actually, what I think I'm going to do is I will publicly just tell that joke even harder next time.
Wow. What a story. So the venue completely canceled it.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
We're not having that. Okay.
Yep.
Wow.
Never again.
Wow. What? That is a bomb.
Yep, that's a bomb.
Yeah. Last one for you as we wrap up the rapid fire here. If you could hypnotize anyone alive or dead, assuming that dead person is now living again, right? Not just a dead person. Who would it be and why?
Because I think he's so fascinating. I would love to hypnotize Elon Musk.
Okay.
Not because I would be asking him to do anything particularly crazy.
Right.
It's like he's hilarious, by the way.
Yeah.
Okay. It's like, and he's got awesome timing.
Yeah. He's been running up on stages recently too. Fist
Look, he's been doing all kinds of
little
things.
Cheesy, yeah.
he does all kinds of things. But it's like he is just so fascinating to me. And honestly, I'd want to hypnotize him because I know that somebody who has accomplished that much, who has that much of a positive attitude, I would walk away a better person from that experience.
So tell me more about hypnosis too, because there is a lot of skepticism out there about what hypnosis even is. Right. So can we start there? What is hypnosis?
Absolutely. So all hypnosis is a conversation with somebody's subconscious mind. We all have, and we're talking about the mind here, not the brain.
Okay. What is the distinction there?
So I want you to think of yourself as the most incredible, most sophisticated, most high-performance fighter aircraft in history. The brain is the hardware for the computer that operates that fighter jet. The mind is the software.
Okay.
Okay. We've all got a conscious and subconscious mind. The subconscious is almost infinitely stronger, more powerful, and has far more memories than the conscious mind does. Our conscious mind takes in 5 to 9 pieces of information per instant, retains most of those items for a very short period of time.
Okay.
Even fewer of those items when it's something my wife is telling me to do. Our subconscious mind, meanwhile, takes in up to 40,000 pieces of information per instant and holds on to it forever. So my wife's subconscious is pretty active with everything that I've ever failed to do correctly.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, that's why we appreciate the women are in life. Right?
No,
they hold us accountable, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Including the things that my wife dreams I actually did.
So why hypnosis for you? What stood out to you as being something that is in a lot of ways hard to understand for people, and what made you pursue that? And then also on top of it, the most misunderstood occupation out there, comedian, being a comic. What led you to those two?
So I I was told by a mentor to go learn everything I could about neuro-linguistic programming. Then that same mentor could not tell me what NLP actually was. But I remembered I had a friend from college who had done some NLP training, and I asked him, what exactly is it? And he said, oh, all it is hypnotic suggestion without a formal induction into trance. I go, hypnosis? That sounds like some Chuck Norris level badassery right there.
Yeah.
And I totally went into the hypnosis rabbit hole, blew off my mentor, and I started just going deeper and deeper in. Then I started doing street hypnosis at work, at parties I go to. I even got banned from a Starbucks for hypnotizing a barista. That was a blast. And then one thing led to another. I used hypnosis on myself, did self-hypnosis to break free of my own 2-pack-a-day smoking habit that I had gotten as a parting gift from the United States Army because, well, guess what? Smokers get extra breaks in the Army. So I used it for that. And then that was kind of my wake-up call. Hey, I actually thought I was good at this at that point for some reason.
Right.
And I didn't have any idea how well. I think I can help people with this. And so I went out, got certified, ended up opening up a practice and started helping people out with sleep, stress, smoking, pain, performance. And still really enjoyed doing the street hypnosis. And then one thing led to another, and I made the shift to bringing comedy and hypnosis together in the entertainment side of hypnosis.
Yeah, one of the things that fascinates me about hypnosis is like the stigma around it too, because it's like, you know, it has a lot of tropes or gimmicks associated with it. So would you mind telling us what hypnosis is not?
Okay.
With the preface of, you know, starting off with the manipulation piece that I think weirds a lot of people out.
Right.
Yeah.
So you're a realtor. I'm sure you have seen bad real estate deals go down.
Sure.
Okay. I'm sure you have seen sellers, buyers, not exactly deal honestly and fairly, and people get taken advantage of.
Right.
It happens.
Right.
Okay. That's our life we live in. None of those folks got hypnotized to do that. Okay. Hollywood has hypnotized people to believe that hypnosis is mind control. Hypnosis is scary. Hypnosis is fake. If you believe Hollywood from the movie Get Out, all I have to do is take a cup of tea, stir it with my spoon, and really hot African American women will want to have sex with me. Okay, it's like, it doesn't work like that. Yeah. Hypnosis is all about the desire for the experience and the change. It feels awesome. It is life-changing. What I do, whether it's on the entertainment side or on the clinical side, is I help people experience and get the life that they want. Maybe that means starting to sleep through the night. Maybe that means being the star of the show. Maybe it means being able to get stuff done that they wanted to get done, but they just hadn't figured out a way just yet.
Sure.
Maybe it's being able to have their mind in the game or in a sales process. So their batting average, either in sales or on a baseball field or on a basketball court, goes way up. That's what I do.
Yeah. So from what I hear you saying is hypnosis is not something like we see in a movie where they're hitting the teacup a certain way and translating people to do certain things that are illegal or immoral, right? But it is a state of trance or a state of relaxation for the mind, either to focus on a singular subject or just in general to relax or recover for something that you may be addicted to.
Right. And one of the things we do is a lot of things, like cigarettes, I approach smoking as a habit, not an addiction.
Sure.
Because guess what the 12th step industry has done? They've hypnotized people that with the idea that an addiction is an incurable fatal disease. Look, if you've ever been in a room where a doctor has told somebody they have an incurable fatal disease, that sucks.
Yeah.
They're taking away all the hope from you. Now, habits we change every day. Habits are not necessarily bad. It's like watching you guys get this podcast set up. I could tell there's some habits you guys each have as you're setting these up.
Sure.
That's
Let
how
Michael
you're able to
do all the work, and I stand back and talk. Yes, exactly.
No, but it's like, you guys were having a dialogue. It's like there was actually a clear order to how things were going, and we can do that with all kinds of things. Maybe that's when we go to bed, what we're doing before we go to bed, and maybe it's what we find funny.
So on the humor piece, I'm curious, what led you in your mind to saying, okay, hypnosis is amazing, it's helpful, now I want to add or spin comedy into the mix? When did it click for you that those two could actually be beneficial to help individuals instead of, compete for attention?
So a lot of people that do hypnosis on the entertainment side call it stage hypnosis.
Right.
And as I'm watching that, I realized the intention is for laughs. And I also saw that a lot of them are doing material that they didn't create. They're doing material that was first done when JFK was still alive.
Sure.
And I've been playing around with stand-up a little bit, and I was like, wait a second. My comedian brothers, they're writing new stuff nonstop.
Right.
They would never do something that was totally irrelevant, 60 plus years old, and wasn't theirs.
Yeah. They're going to be innovating it. They're going to be changing it. They're going to be doing more crowd work.
They love what they do. And I also saw that crowd work was starting to take off. And I was like, wait a second. Crowd work fits with a hypnosis show perfectly. It's like the difference is that I bring the people who I'm doing the crowd work with up on stage with me. And so they only have to take about one step before they Will Smith my ass if they don't like something I do on the crowd work side.
And for the listeners out there, can you clarify who is generally coming up on stage? You're not forcing people to come on stage, right?
So how
it's a
I do it.
participation.
So how I do it
Yeah.
is I lay out for people. Hey, bunch of came here tonight thinking there is no way I am going to volunteer, but I want to see what's going to happen. It's like, let me tell you why you might want to anyway.
Yeah.
You want to because you're going to have more fun than anybody else in the room. You don't want to because you're going to get a story that your friends aren't going to have, and that's kind of cool. You're going to get a chance to be the star of the show if you share your personality with all of us. And here's the other thing. When it's all over, you're going to feel like you just had 8 hours of solid, powerful, restful sleep.
Interesting. So the individuals who are coming on stage are volunteering
to
be a part of the experience.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And one of the things I do is before I actually guide them into trance,
Right.
I say, okay, by a show of hands, who would like me to hypnotize you?
Right.
And if you aren't raising your hand right away, I want you to go back and join your friends and family.
Of course, yeah.
Okay, because it's not a fight.
Same as if a comedian says, "Who wants to be roasted?" Right? Or
Well,
asking somebody to roast me, right?
If you are at a comedy show and you're close enough that comedian can actually see you,
Sure.
you're fair game. Okay, if
That
you
is
don't
true.
want if
Yeah.
you don't want that attention, don't sit up front.
Yeah.
And maybe don't even come to the show. And if you do come to the show, don't interrupt the comedian.
Sure.
Okay.
So that's a little different, though, in the hypnosis and
Yeah, because
comedian
I'm
space.
actually saying, come on up here.
Yeah.
If you come up, then we're going to have some fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what kind of mental state do you need to put yourself in, Colin? Or is there a rhythm or a ritual that you have to prepare for a show before you begin to engage in hypnosis for other people?
So on the entertainment side, my mental state is how much I love everybody who came out of that show.
Yeah.
How much gratitude I have for whoever it is that booked me. Okay. And I'm going to go out there and I'm just going to be happy to do the show for whoever showed up that night. Mm-hmm. Okay. And it might be when I did my show at this top secret spy agency that most Americans have never heard of and almost no one knows what they do, the National Reconnaissance Office, where we ended up with a total that was close to 1,500 people at that show.
Wow.
Or I actually had one show that, due to some things that happened where, let's just say, there was a lockdown at and Richmond was being Richmond, which sometimes happens. I only ended up with 6 people at the show.
Of course. Yeah.
You know what? I'm giving everything I got because I love the people who came out there to see it.
So the people really drive you to
absolutely.
To
it's like every day when I get up, I'm asking myself, what am I going to do to help somebody laugh today?
Yeah. I love that. And I understand, you do have TikTok and you're on social media a lot. Mm-hmm. And one of the things included in your TikTok is one of your viral clips of some backlash that you had with another creator, the vegan teacher, right?
That vegan teacher.
And I'll preface it here because I know this is a little bit dated. That's 2020. But I think the root of it is still the same as what happens when the audience that you are really wanting to connect with repels you or heckles you or doesn't want to connect back. How do you work through that?
So if I'm in the room and I can tell something's going on where I'm losing the audience,
sure,
then I have to shift gears and win them back over.
Right.
Okay. And how do I do that? I do that by being really open, really honest, and humble. Which, talk to my wife, she'll tell you that's so difficult for me. It's painful. Because I've got to win them back. Yeah. I'm actually there for them, okay? And I don't have time to actually be butthurt about it, okay? I've got to, it's like I need to win them back. It's like it's like sometimes they'll be like, so I guess I'm not ever doing that joke again, or sometimes if it's not the entire audience, it's one person going full Karen on me.
Sure.
Then we might dance a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay. With that vegan teacher thing, when her followers started coming after me, saying everything in the book about me, I just gave it back to them twice as hard.
Sure.
Okay. Sure. And that was pure fun. It was good for me. It was good for her. And it was just a lot of fun. It was a lot of laughs.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah. On the comedian lens, it was very engaging. Does it ever bother you at all or get to you? Or do you have to, I'm assuming as a hypnosis comedian, you have to have some pretty tough skin.
So as a comedian, I don't want to hurt anyone. I'm not going after people. It's like,
sure. You're not stirring things up just to stir things up.
It's like I'm not like gee, from the way you're dressed, it's obvious that Goodwill quality's gone way downhill. Mm-hmm. I'm not doing anything like that. I'm doing things that are more, they don't meet the laugh test. For instance, the joke about my wife that I told earlier. One of the things that a lot of people don't want to admit in comedy is that every joke has a victim. I was the victim in that joke.
Sure.
It's what a train wreck I am.
And I'm sure you also approved you got your wife's approval, right? Before telling that joke?
There might be a few jokes
Yeah.
that she doesn't know are coming before.
Yeah.
Like there was one joke
But she hasn't like explicitly said like, please don't joke about me, right?
No, okay. she it's like she knows me well enough that even if she did, it was still going to happen.
Yeah.
I did this one show, and it was the first show that my daughter was able to be at. And I go, not only is my wife here, but for the first time, my daughter, who's been traveling internationally, was finally able to make one of my shows. And that means that there are now 2 women in the room who call me daddy.
Colin,
she was livid.
I love your energy. I love your energy. And that's I think your energy is one that it bears highlighting for a couple different reasons too. Part of our series here in Richmond, as we wrap up our conversation today, we've explored how people bring their unique perspectives and their personalities and their passion to Richmond throughout Virginia. How can we all learn to embrace life's unpredictable nature and begin to see the humor throughout things while also being conscious of who's the audience in the room?
I think one of the things is just realizing that the only thing in life we control are our own attitudes. Okay, everything else is stuff that happens. And the test that the universe is putting on us is not whether or not stuff's going to happen. The test is how we deal with that stuff when it happens. And a lot of stuff, once you get past it, you can actually find a way to laugh about it.
Colin, thank you so much for your time. We appreciate it.
All right. Thanks a lot.
Yeah.